Hello and welcome back to my winter wrap-up. And I did some action shows last time, but I left out one show because I kind of didn't finish it in time. With the 12-episode series by A1 Pictures called Vividred Operation, which some people might have seen. You know, you've probably seen it on Tumblr or YouTube or Google+. It's the show with kind of, I think, magical girl theme. He had 3 girls that, well, I think a total of 4 girls actually in the beginning, that each of these girls become, I guess, different type of magical girls. But this magical girl series is more militarized. What they have, I guess, the comparison would probably be Strike Witches for this one, definitely, because that was also kind of magical girl with military thrown in, and it was kind of cool. You know, I like this series for the action, yes, and there are a bunch of ass shots all over the place. You know. So I think that's what this series is quite famous for. And the cool thing about this series, you have the main girl, her name's Akane, and she can, I guess, dock with these other girls, or like better term would be fusion. So she can turn to one being by fusing with any of the girls, becoming like green, yellow, red, or those kind of colors like that. And basically, this doubles her power, and she can one-shot these monsters that appear in the series. And there's a mysterious girl named Ray, who you kind of learn a bit about her in the beginning. That she's not from that Earth, from our I guess Earth right now. And yeah, it's kind of cool watching her just deal with, you know, where she comes from and how she becomes friends with these other girls eventually. In the beginning, she's more of a kind of a bad guy. She's there to stir the monsters up and, you know, power them up with her magical bow. But yeah, that series is okay if you don't really care too much for magical girls or fan service in either order. You probably might want to pass on that one. And taking a break from the action shows, I went with the comedy of winter, starting with the Good Job BU, which 12-episode series by Doggy Kodo. It's a weird studio, I've never heard of them before, but Good Job BU is like, I would say, in terms of any other show, a K-On! Basically. It's cute girls doing cute things, but there's one guy in their little club. And they don't really explain what the Good Job Club does, they just kind of hang out, do what the hell they want, and move on. They have like a few characters. You have a chess player named Shion. She just plays chess. She was kind of my favorite because she was kind of like scatterbrained. She wasn't really all there half the time, and she was, I guess, raised a certain way that getting like canned out of a soda machine was like a rare opportunity for her. You know, she didn't even know how to eat ramen right. She was opening the ramen, like eating it raw, like the noodles, without even boiling the water or anything. So a lot of the jokes play on her that she's smart, but she's not smart about, you know, modern, I guess, everyday life things besides chess and anything else. Then you had Mal, who's this short girl with orange hair, and she's the student, I guess, the president of that club. And she's kind of weird. She's acts like the little sister character to all the girls in the club. There's even episodes where the main guy is walking by himself, and Mal shows up, and she's got twin tails and everything. She acting like this, like a little kid, so she can get a kid's meal or, you know, kids food off them on the restaurants they go to. It was pretty funny, and yeah, I mean, it's a slow series. I mean, you kind of have to like watch one episode, and if you can get into the characters and like their personalities, this might be a good series for you. Again, it's a typical K-On! Show where nothing important really happens. And I think like 90% of the show takes place in the club room. And I think towards like the middle, like 10, they get another club member. She has green hair, and you see her in the opening all the time. And she kind of adds a different dynamic to the club. Instead of girls picking on the guy, they kind of they turn on the girl and kind of make her do things like dress up in certain costumes, things like that. Or you could probably even say Melancholy Suzumiya if you want, or Suzumiya. Because it kind of felt that way too, in the club aspect anyway. But enough of that series. go on to a KyoAni show, which 12 episodes, and they're automatically known for their awesome artwork when they put out Tamako Market this season, which follows a girl named Tamako who lives in this shopping district, and I guess she's been there her whole entire life, and she basically knows all these little shops. She knows all the owners and stuff like that. So I guess it's like a tight-knit community with her and these people in the this shopping district. And it kind of follows her everyday life, going to school, coming home, and I guess her family makes mochi, which is, I guess, like a marshmallow type. I've never had it, I just know it's from, you know, certain animes have it everywhere. And it follows her life, and there's some odd things in this series. You have, in the beginning, this bird who's like narrating, and he actually talks, and everyone can understand him. And his goal in this series is to find a bride for his prince. I guess his prince is like a faraway island. You kind of learn more about him as the series goes along, but this follows like interesting stuff. You have like 4, I think, well, 3 girls actually in the beginning. All of them kind of have some kind of relationship with Tamako. They're either friends with her, or there's even one girl that kind of hints at possible a lesbian relationship. She kind of likes Tamako a little more than, you know, normal friends would, but there's also a guy that kind of likes her too. So, and these two characters kind of butt heads together because they both fight over for Tamako's affection. It's like, no, the guy wants her, but the girl likes her, and it's just those two kind of butt heads a little bit, but it was nice they didn't really drag that out too long. And my biggest gripe with this show is just, you know, KyoAni, they're just not known for romance for me. I mean, they've done some romance, but it's always been, like, for me, half-assed, where it happens kind of towards the middle or towards the end. Hyoko last season was a good example. We had Chinubio, which that was kind of a rushed romance, I think, for me anyway. So their track record with romance isn't that high. I mean, they knock it out of the park with animation. You know, Moe is their, you know, bread and butter basically right now. And for that series, I liked a girl named Kana. She was kind of quiet, always had like these little weird one-liners, and she was cool. I liked the talking bird. The bird kept me coming back every week just to watch whatever he would do next. So it was fun. I liked that. But in the end, not a lot happens in this series, unfortunately. So I mean, if you like the Heian vibe, Tamako Market, it might be just perfect for you. You know, that's pretty much what they do. They do cute stuff, you know, very well. And for my final comedy show, I know Katoru-san's technically a comedy, but I'm saving that for a different review. So, but with the next show, I'm going with a 12-episode series by AIC Build called Boku wa Tomodachi ga HaganaiNEXT, or as most people call it, I know that talk about it, call it HaganaiNEXT. I don't really know how that comes about, but yeah, it's debatable on the, I guess, title of this series. But this is a season 2 of the same series, but without the next. Follows the same characters. You have like Rika, Senna, Yozora, Maria, and Kabuto, and Kodaka, obviously the main character. But it picks up, I think, right where season 1 leaves off, just with all the characters kind of changing a little bit in this series. Is how I felt. You had like Yukimura, which, if you remember, season 1 was the character that was dressed as a maid in their club. He or she was always sitting there, you know, doing things like that. It's a little bit revealed with that character, which I don't want to spoil it. If you want to find out yourself, it's fine. Then, for me, some of the characters didn't really change. We had Yozora, which is, you know, she's technically the main romance interest in the series for our main guy Kodaka, but she spent most of her time apologizing to Senna and everyone else and just being nicer. Season 1, she was a total bitch. She was just mean to Senna all the time, always trolling her, always messing around. There's a bit of that in the beginning of season 2, but they kind of dropped that really fast. They didn't stick around too long. But this showed the season also introduced 2 new characters. You get to meet the student council president and her vice president, which is Yusa and Hinata, which they didn't really do much till I think the last 2 episodes. They kind of did a lot more. Yusa probably more than Hinata, because Yusa was around trying. She's a short little redhead girl. She's just throughout the series she tries to find out more about Kodaka and Senna. So it's kind of fun watching her as a new character. Anyway, it's kind of refreshing. And we also had Maria and Kabuto, the little girls. In the beginning, season 1, they hated each other and they couldn't stand being around each other. They always would argue and fight. But this season, they kind of slowly build this little relationship that these 2 girls have, that they might become friends one day in the future, but they still consider each other rivals. So, but I think out of all the characters, there's a character named Rika. She's this perverted scientist character that she's nuts. She's always thinking about, you know, dirty thoughts and stuff like that, sexual things, and she's always just doing these weird things to get under Kodaka's, I guess, try to get him excited or whatever, but it never works because he's kind of immune to all that. But she's a fun character. I think this season was more about her becoming this, you know, instead of this, we saw her in season 1 as this perverted girl, like, oh, it's her again, she's doing something stupid. But in this second season, she kind of steals the show for me, honestly. And her whole premise, she just wants to make friends. She doesn't. In the beginning, she kind of likes the Kodaka, but she kind of gets over that and like realizes she can't ever get with him. So, but anyway, the ending, I'm not so happy with this ending. It kind of just ends, leaves you like, okay, what? Like, you don't know what's gonna happen next. For me, I wouldn't care if they did a movie of this, of the third, like, say the 3rd season, because a movie could cover, you know, your Zora finally figuring out what she wants to say to Kodaka. I mean, you have the other characters finally realize they're friends and all this crap. That's the big thing with that series too. A lot of them don't realize they're actually friends, but whatever. But season 3, I guess could work. I would like more episodes. But yeah, that's been my. Yeah, I was out on HaganaiNEXT. Really fun if you don't mind a little bit of ecchi, a little bit of harem. Even though I kind of don't consider it a harem because, again, Kodaka doesn't really show any interest in the other girls, and they don't really pursue him too much. I think it's only Senna and your Zora in the end who push for this romantic relationship. But anyway, it's a fun series. That's been my second half. I think the 3rd part of my little reviews will be the final of my winter season stuff. Thank you and take care.